three, four. Down to the VHS. VHS out of the VHS. It's the 18 of my business. Cause I was out of the house and doing stuff. No easy Wi-Fi blemishes, but I guess that's the way it goes. Down to the VHS. VHS out of the VHS. Got no money, smoking crack, saving up for the Betamax. Down to the VHS. VHS out of the VHS.
Hello!
I said it'll get done by episode 100. Welcome to Obscure Tape Time, the show where we watch VHS in their entirety and invite you to suffer along with us.
From start to finish.
Hey, what's been going on since last episode?
Ugh. I can't remember.
We went to a punk show.
Oh yeah, we went back. That was before after the last episode. Jesus.
Did we talk about that last episode?
No, I don't. I think that's when I asked if you wanted to go.
Yeah, exactly. So we went to that. And yeah. I guess saying we went to the punk show was kind of the wrong thing because we didn't. That was just a happy sort of thing that's there. We
exactly.
went to go.
It's
on
just a
an
bar
adventure.
where bands play and you don't really pay. And I bought a bunch of vinyl records beforehand.
Yeah. And then the punk band we saw was crazy.
They were definitely punk.
There was a guy standing on stage the entire time drinking a beer.
That was his job in the band.
Yeah.
To just be the guy who drinks beer.
And the singer climbed up on the rafters. And then at the end of the show, he buggered off to 7-Eleven and got...
that was during a song, by the way.
During the last song. Got a sandwich and a Slurpee or something like that.
Yeah, went to 7-Eleven.
Gave it to the guy who was just standing on stage, took a bite, and then finished the show. It was fantastic.
And then we left.
Made me feel like I was a kid until the next day.
Yeah, that's it.
When I heard. And then last week, you took a mental health day. We took a mental health week, which is appropriate because it's actually mental health awareness time.
Oh, great.
So it was like it kind of
everyone coincided. Be aware of how sad I am.
Yeah, it coincided. But talking about people being aware of how sad they are, this week's video that we're going to watch is Rex Hunt's fishing adventures. Now, Rex Hunt has just recently come out in the news saying that he has suffered with substance abuse due to chemical depression-y things. And the substance abuse just happens to be like pain pills and stuff. So he's come out talking about that, and I thought what better way to celebrate him getting that all off his chest than to watch a video of back when he used to take those drugs, and now we can watch this video with new eyes thinking, Jesus, he was stoned off his tits for that, and that's why that exists. Rex Hunt started off life as a footballer, eventually became known...
Hawthorn and Geelong, I think.
Yep, being known as a football commentator because he always made up stupid names and stupid kind of catchphrases to go with it. So he got really popular with the radio commentary. I thought he was a personality enough that he got his own TV show.
Well, he got his own TV show a long time ago. I mean...
Yeah, but he was commentating on lower football before he got his TV show.
Oh, well, yeah.
So that's the... But yeah, he got his TV show.
If I'm not mistaken, he was never very good at football, but he...
And the thing about the Rex Hunt fishing world thingy, I kind of always wanted to watch this on the show because it seems like one of those things that we wouldn't watch because to us, Rex hunt, fishing, and kissing fish and stuff is just normal.
Yeah.
But like even to maybe even some of the rest of Australia is weird. Like definitely to the rest of the world. So it's something that we can reminisce about, but everybody else be like, what the hell is this? Why is he kissing those fish?
Yeah, we definitely have that weird culture here where you can get famous by being a fisherman. Like,
Yeah. Do you know any famous fishermen from anywhere else? Unless you're in the fishing biz yourself?
I know, but I do, like, I know their faces, like, if I saw them.
Right.
Because I've seen so many, they're ridiculous.
A lot of the American ones are the big fishing things where they have to strap themselves into the chair and stuff. This is like, oh yeah, shut up. This is more like casual. It's casual fishing rather than sports fishing.
Ouch.
But it's very strange that he I don't know, did he ever get sued by Warner Brothers for the catchphrase? Because he says yibbida yibbida, that's all folks at the end of all
I
these
think
shows.
most of his TV was public access, wasn't it?
Originally, but they put
Oh,
on
yeah.
channel 7 at one point, or 10, something like that.
Well, I mean, Channel 7 wouldn't have let him do it if they didn't know the legalities around it.
Yeah, I guess. But this is like a best of thing, so I'm assuming this is some of the most earliest stuff.
Well, that would be the worst of, because he probably took a few years trying to master his craft
Oh,
as
yeah.
being a TV presenter.
It'd be nice to get some of those early episodes from when he was starting up the idea. Do you remember this intro? Do you think he was stoned when he came up with these ideas? The director was stoned too, yeah, in the mix. This is very, it seems very, in a place to be able to, I guess. Must have. Apparently the DJ just said.
Is that better? Maybe we're too loud now.
Sometimes we get a good quality tape that works,
We arrived at
and we
the
have
room
to
with
adjust the
Montague Island
volume.
looking a treat. The sun breaking through the clouds had the island looking
It's
like
no
the
different to
jewel
like
of
if
the
you buy
Sapphire
20
Coast.
CDs and then rip them all and put them in a playlist.
Yes.
The sound will be all
A
fucked.
few hours later,
Yeah.
the jewel
You
had
want to change spots again?
broken by the huge, unpredictable waves. Not normal along this coast, but then nor was the
are
reason
we?
for them. These huge waves were caused by a combination of cyclone Betsy and Mark in northern Queensland.
Oh, and I thought it'd be a great idea to
But
go
that's the
fishing.
beauty of Narooma. The bar can stop you going outside, while inside,
Aw, they're fishing.
Caught anything yet?
A cold.
what a place.
Sounds about
About
right.
the fresh air making you hungry.
Well, Matt,
This is our 90th
give it a
episode,
start
by
on
the
this
way.
magnificent spread.
Whoa.
Yeah, pretty good there.
Look, he's wearing a
Another
New
thing
York
about
Knicks hat.
the Sapphire Coast is the amazing amount of estuaries that litter the entire
What are
coastline.
they drinking?
Unlike our
Sauce?
estuaries in Victoria, they're very, very tidal. And the quality of the water is A1.
Or glass
Now,
bottle
the fishing
cola.
is
Doesn't look like
divided into two
Coca-Cola.
parts. The people chasing the mulloway and flathead go to the deepest part of the lakes. But old uncle has a look at the sand flats. For the sand whiting, also known here as yellowfin whiting, and also
I like how his co-host is like,
diamond
I'm going to eat
scaled
this.
sand
Yeah,
mullet.
it's like, I'm not
And they
sitting
give
here
a
listening to
great
this
deal of
shit.
fun in shallow water. You need the right bait, and you know that I'm a stickler for the fresh bait. I've got about an hour before the tide is right. I've got a magnificent spread from Liges, made up for me by Lyle and Jan.
He can
right
eat
here on the
more
banks of the
seafood in the
Wodonga
breakfast
Inlet.
of going
I'm
fishing
gonna
than he'll
taste some of
actually
the
catch to be
beautiful
able to make
wares.
seafood.
Mainly
Definitely.
local seafood, and then I'm going to hit the whiting. Get into it, Matt. Don't be shy. Come on now.
He wasn't shy. He already took half.
Yeah, he's already
Oh,
more
right.
than you, dude.
We're doing okay here at the moment, Matt. Now look at this here. Look at some sandworms. And we have had
Sandworms?
some queries from time to
Oh,
time about
gosh.
these sandworms. Now that bloke's heading for the deep. So I'll put my
Is that
finger
where the
under there
spice
like
is
that
then?
and get him out. And there's his head. Now we've had some queries about which end is the head. Well, the thick part is
The one
the
that
head,
bites you.
and that is the tail. If I was to go like that to the tail, see what happens? It just comes away.
Oh, you just.
But because
oh.
his head is pretty tough, I suppose just a little bit like mine, you can pick him up by the head and pop him in the bucket. Now, this bloke's getting away again. I'll just get under there with the forefinger
After you squished
and
his
expose
butthole.
his head, and I can
Fishing
pull
is
him out like
gross.
that.
Yeah.
That is what we're after. The main diet of the whiting of Australia, whether it be King George, silver or sand, is the worm. And this is what they're after, the marine worms. We call
What do you
them
think
soft
about
or
his
sandworms
all-white
or even podworms in
coloured
Victoria.
vest and stubbies
Whatever you call
outfit?
them, don't worry, the whiting love them.
It's definitely of its time. Is this 80s or 90s?
This is 90s.
And I just had a little bit of a touch on that line there. And I've got, what's your rod there, Matt? I've got mine on.
And don't forget to zinc up your
yeah?
nose.
Yeah, that's it. You starting to
Are
come
they
around now?
stuck together? That would be funny.
All right then, use that rod like it's designed, lifting and then winding. What do you reckon yours is?
I think it's a sand whiting.
Oh yeah. All right.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
nice
good for
fish
the
too,
chat
Matt.
back gig.
Nice fish.
No, it's a sand mullet.
A sand mullet.
It's a nice
It's a
mullet.
nice
too.
mullet too. We might
Co-host
have had a
is
school of these come
not
through.
not a TV
I reckon I
personality.
might
You
have
can
the
kind of
same
tell.
type of fish, which is a sand mullet, which as against the yellow eye mullet in Victoria, these sand mullet are a very, very clean fish. But the way that mine's going, he's pulling the rod down like a whiting. When Matt's came to the surface, I reckon
I
I've
can't
got
stop
a
looking
whiting,
at
and
his
here he
zinc.
comes now. Now we'll have a look at Matt's sand mullet in a moment. This is a yellowfin whiting. Now, before I
By
go
the
any
rods,
further,
it's definitely
you will see
90s
that
apparently. What
red
type of rods
bead
are they?
and that bit
Carbon
of red
fiber
tubing.
Shimano's?
Now that's not there because I want it to look nice. It's used as an attractor. And as the bait waves in the tide with a bunch of worms, it catches the whiting's eye because the worms and the sand sort of blend in together. But this flashing fluorescent red says,
If you're not going to eat that, you should probably throw it back
that looks
before it
very, very
suffocates.
interesting to
Kiss
me.
it first.
and they
Give it a little
grab it.
bit of mouth-to-mouth
So that is a
resuscitation.
sand whiting. It's also known as a yellowfin whiting.
Are we going to
obvious
get our
reasons,
first kiss, or is he
there
keeping
are your
this one?
yellow fins. The recommended legal length is 27 centimetres. This is well over at about 31, 32. And as all Australian whiting, including the King George whiting, the yellowfin whiting is one of the top eating fish in the sea. And the Narooma estuary is an excellent place to go fishing for them. Now, what I'll do now is I'll get Matt to place
Keeping that one.
the mullet
You've
in
got to
my
count
hands.
down to the first kiss.
Now, the sand mullet,
Place the mullet in my
as
hand,
against the
please.
yellow eye mullet in Victoria, has diamond-shaped scales. You might find it very difficult to see, but there's those diamond-shaped scales.
Poor
He
fishy.
still has a yellow tinge in his eye, although the top of his eye is not completely golden yellow like our golden or yellow-eyed mullet in Victoria. But he is a sand predator. He hunts the same areas as the
He
whiting,
hunts for sand.
using that
Kills
big
it dead.
gob to
He's-
sift through the sand
Big
and
gob.
get those polychaete worms out. We've got the polychaete worms, alias the pod or sandworms. We've got a run-in tide. We've got the good gear. It looks
Oh,
like being
his
a good
vest is an
session.
official 3AW collared vest. I like the
It's
fact that he
been a
reacts to his
very,
own
That
very
means
means.
he's a
enjoyable
conservative.
day. And
Yeah.
the fish has been a bonus.
That's a very
A
conservative
few
station,
people now
right?
starting to
Yeah.
make their
That's where all
way
the
out to
angry
Flathead
right-wingers
and
go.
Mulloway grounds
Yeah,
and
it's
hope
got
for a
tight
big fish,
associations with the
particularly
Rupert
at
Murdochs,
sundown.
right?
Probably.
Bit of a touch on that rod then.
Allegedly.
The whiting, well, they haven't been tremendously cooperative today, but come here now.
This reminds me, we have to
Been
go
very,
through
very
all Grandpa's
enjoyable to be able
rods
to
and
do it at
catalogue
our
them
own
and sell
leisure.
them.
No, really.
And-
It's
Yeah.
going to take a while.
Yeah, because apparently
You
they're
don't
not
need
$300-400
deep water for
rods.
these
They're a
whiting.
couple of
You can
$1,000
see
rods.
clearly beyond that whiting there that it's about 3 foot
Jesus
deep.
Christ.
Yeah.
And the yellowfin or sand whiting with southern New
Grandma's
South
going to get a
Wales
shock when her
is a
bank
very
account
good
starts
adversary on
going
the end
up
of the hook
instead of down.
and not bad in the frying pan.
No more
So when you
buying
go away
random
on
shit that
holidays,
costs $1 billion.
You can do it at your leisure. You can dangle or you can angle. And if you specialise, the
What's
rules
the
are
angle
this.
of the dangle?
Choose the right area where the fish are likely to feed at various forms of the tide. Use the right gear, and above all, make the effort to get the bait. Because if you do those three things, you can't fail, folks.
Pew, pew. Pew, 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 pew. Is this so early that he doesn't kiss all the fish yet?
Maybe. You said this is
Well,
just
there's
like
no
a best
doubt
of
about it.
though, so
Live bait will
Must be
outfish
his
dead
favourite
bait 10 to
catches.
1 in my
Hmm.
opinion. And in Victoria, most of our
Compiled
live bait
for
is done in
fishing
inland
enthusiasts
waterways.
or they can
A
enjoy
la
some of your
worms,
favourite fishing
mud-eyes,
stories from
minnows,
popular
that type of
television
thing for
series
redfin
again
and
and again.
trout.
Yeah.
But as you get north on the south coast of New South
So they've tried to
Wales,
put it
live
together
bait
as a like a
takes
how-to,
another
but
sort of
also it's
aside.
just clips from the TV
On
show.
the open ocean, they use striped
Yeah,
tuna
okay,
and a little
that
thing
makes
called
sense.
a yakka, which is a yellow-tailed
that explains
scad.
why he was telling us
member
how
of
to
the
identify the
cowan
different
family.
kinds of fishes that he was
In
catching.
the
Yeah.
estuarine waters,
So
Fish
in,
is dead,
major
Napostro.
bait
The
fish.
fish is dead,
The
okay?
first one is called a hardy head. And he's a little bait
Hardy
fish
head.
that grows no bigger
now
than
watch
that
as
little
we
guy
stick
there.
this hook right through his eye.
He's shiny and he's irresistible to big flathead and small jewfish, which I've explained to you
Hate when we sell
many
bait at
times
work.
before.
It
We call
stinks.
them mulloway. Now, the major bait species on the south
We have
coast
to
of
get
New
used
South
to
Wales, if I
the
can
watching
catch
the
you,
animals in distress because we
friend,
just recently got those boar hunting
is the
videos.
yellow-eye mullet, also known here as poddy
Yeah.
mullet. Now, naturally enough, because
I mean,
he's going
that
to go on the
bothers
end
me
of a
less,
hook
I
for
think.
live bait, he's not very keen to come to me.
Because it doesn't stink as much.
Now,
Well, fishing is just like,
what happens
let's
is,
kill one creature
the
to
hook is rather
torture
big.
another.
it's
Yeah.
a
Or in this
throw.
case, let's torture one
Not
creature to
because the
torture
bait is
another.
big,
Yeah.
but
Whereas the
because
boars, they are
prey
just
that we
going out and
are
killing
after,
them because they are a
hopefully,
problem up there.
Yeah, they're all, yeah,
Big
it's also, they're
gob.
also a pest,
You
so...
can fit a big hook into a big gob.
Yep. We
Like
introduced them and they're ravaging the
So,
outback.
we want him to stay alive.
I saw it in that
The
movie,
hook goes in under his chin.
Which one?
the
and out through
Razorback.
the top,
Oh, yeah.
and then
Yep,
he's
just
a
torture
live
that
bait.
fish.
Ow, 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 ow!
He now goes out, and he is
Could've just used Steve-O.
consistently swimming for you.
Yeah, he'll catch
And
you
it
some
is this
sharks.
particular swimming action
Well, actually, it's the other guy who caught the shark.
that there may be
Poopies.
food around.
Poopies.
And this
Yeah,
is
he got
the
his
way
hand
that
bit by
nature
a
works.
shark.
Sure did.
These big flathead and
poo,
trevally
yeah,
and
cut some tendons
jewfish,
and stuff.
they prey on other things. It's a little bit like the
well.
lion taking
It's on-
the
it's on
sick
camera,
young
so it's
goat
okay.
at the end of the herd.
That's
When
it.
you see it on
That's it,
Disneyland,
as long as they're
something
allowed
like
to use
that.
the footage.
They're always looking, these big predators, for something that's injured. If they see this flash of this yellow-eye mullet, bang! Thank you very much, there's no tomorrow. Just one tip for you people who have written in and asked me about live bait. I leave them on 10 to 15 minutes. I like to see the end of the rod working like that so everyone knows that the bait is working and therefore the fish is swimming and fishing for you. I then pull it in, throw the bait away and put a new one. Because if
Something
you've
that
got
I
them
always
going,
liked
they're
about
quite
Rex
easy to
Hunt was his
catch.
wild
So live bait,
gesticulations.
if you can possibly get it, you're going to enhance
What's
your
that?
catches
The way he puts his
tenfold.
hand towards the camera a lot. I always kind of enjoyed that for some reason.
It's like he's celebrating a goal to the camera. You can tell he's a footy player.
Mate, if you'd be just good enough to move that rod, just had just the slightest touch on that live.
I want to see it in 3D.
Yeah, that would be
Got to
fun.
give the flathead a little bit of time to take.
Here's the fish! Gonna put this bait
Can you get that
on
rod out
the
of the way,
rod.
buddy? A bit of a flathead on here. He's not going to set any records. However, I think it's a flathead. Now,
I met the world's
flathead.
leading
Oh yeah, 3D
flathead-
camera on the bait. Yeah, now we're talking.
Oh boy.
And just a nice one.
I met the world's
Nice
leading
one.
flathead fisher once at a fishing convention
Yeah,
that I
mate.
got dragged to.
Just a
His
nice
name was
flatty.
Freddie
Just
Flathead.
to prove
Was he a bogan?
how,
One of those
how good
old white
these
men
live
who
mullet
wear
are. Now,
sweater
Flathead
jumpers
there.
and Dunlop shoes.
It's a
So
dusky flathead.
probably.
a beauty.
I wonder if I'll ever find one of his
What I'm
videos.
going to do, seeing that I've got
Probably.
a 15-pound trace on it,
I mean, you know his
I'm
name,
going
so
to
you could
trace
probably
him to
search
the
him
back
up
of the
if you really
boat,
wanted
not while
to.
he's kicking like that.
Now that I'm remembering.
I've got his head out of the water for a reason.
So he's
He's not
yeah,
going
to
be
drown
any
him.
good if he's got his head out of the water.
No,
And I'm
he's
to
going to
just
start losing
bring him into
oxygen
the
to his
boat like
brain.
that. Now, that is, ooh, beautiful dusky flathead of around about 3 pounds.
Could you just imagine the exact same
The
like
ripper.
sentiment,
Rip snorter in
but
my
talking
words.
about the other way around?
And what
Like
we've got to be careful of, that's the
so
way to
I've
grab a
got this,
flathead. When he flares
I
his
don't know,
gills
deer
like that,
here. I'm just going to hold
that
its
is
head
the
under the
safe
water
way.
so it doesn't move.
because we've told you at Flinders
Oh, yeah.
Island,
Yeah, that does work,
told you
doesn't
at
it?
Port Phillip
I'm just
Bay,
gonna put this pillow over this
these are the
rabbit's
things
head,
to watch out
So it
for.
doesn't move as much.
and then I'm gonna
These
shoot
are
it.
the things that can give you a nasty
Now you
little
see
wound.
it's completely docile.
So the light bulb went on, you saw it quite clearly. The hook went through his lip, and that to me is 3 to 3.5 pounds of dusky flathead, well worth coming up here for. And I can just about smell him in the fry pan, that guy. What a beautiful fish.
I'll tell you what I can smell on him.
Welcome
Fish.
on board, mate.
Go kiss it.
Thank you very much.
I'm going to eat you. Thank you very
Yay!
much.
Suffocating!
Whoa, a diary. Watch the window. It's going to fly towards you. I know it.
Ian's a real character, knows the bay backwards too. Always good fun with Poco.
Poco! I think that's short for popcorn.
Oh, okay.
It's just all a little bit too hard, you know what I mean? You said pick me up at the pier, like you put me right off. I hope this hasn't spoiled our day.
We are on Eastern Standard Time, mate.
Well,
Oh, you don't know
right,
flatheads
that's the
in-
end of the- Can you just stop the front
up
of the
where you
boat
are?
there from crashing in and doing all the damage? And just hop on there, will you, and walk over here. That's it. Now,
Whoops.
now,
Rex,
like,
are there any
now,
questions?
that is a reason never ever to cross me, okay? Now, when I go fishing, this is my business.
'Cause I'll
like,
invite
this
you
is
onto my
just
boat
on a
and
day
drown
off,
you.
this is my
Mate, I
business.
fish the stuff.
Now,
I mean, I cook the stuff.
You've obviously been to the office before you came here. I didn't realise it was fancy dress.
Rex, these are Portsea whiting. They will not take anything except cultivated mussels and
Uh-oh.
cultivated fish.
Where are you going
Sorry,
with him?
you are not a big chance today.
Well, we'll see about that
You are
because
not a big
I
chance.
have got the great Aussie salute, the no sleeves on underneath here. I tell you what, it's a little bit warm.
Oh, the banter.
Dressed in the national.
Oh,
sort
the
of
banter
Rosso
is
uniform.
the bit that I'm
We'll
shutting
see
up
how
for
good it
because
is,
Okay,
mate.
mate. All
it's
right,
the
well,
most
let's go out there
interesting.
and see, eh?
It's so
Anyhow,
bad.
We'll start again, all right, mate.
Do you think they had
how are you, mate?
an
All right?
outline?
Let's go fishing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Probably more than we do, that's for sure.
Kinda wish he'd fallen in.
Whitehead are one of the main eating species for fishermen around, at least here.
Rex,
Aside
these
from whiting.
mussels, very, very careful collecting those 3 years ago from Werribee.
When we're not eating
You're a purist.
sharks.
I know that you love to support the people growing the mussels on the ropes, but these have been
I mean, I don't eat sharks.
Springvale tip, mate, and they are just
I
It
wouldn't-
is our main.
Blood out refuse to eat anything endangered,
Very
especially.
confident. I know we're early in the tide
I think
phase.
a lot of sharks are endangered.
Perhaps
Yeah.
I'm going a little bit wonko here.
That sure is good old Rex.
Yeah, that's what we're watching today.
No.
I don't eat
What we've
anything
done here,
from the
Rex,
water.
is Just to the left here, there's a massive kelp bed through here where we get calamari on the chain.
I prefer things that breathe the
Not
same
much
air as
sand
me.
hole there, 18 to 20 feet. Up here we're on 14 feet, and all the fish that I'm catching here at the moment are spewing worms. So it's obviously a worm
Stingray,
bed
I don't think it's
the
on
third-
any
14
menus
odd feet.
anywhere
So it's a
around
fairly
here.
critical mark, Rex. So
Okay, mate, what do you think?
Yeah, it's not that I've ever heard, but I wouldn't know, because again, I don't go to seafood restaurants.
We might go to some of those.
Dark Asylum, do you ever fancy a bit of
Yeah, it's
seafood?
good.
It's been a long time.
Well, let's see if the fish cooperate, eh? I'm using a fairly, because we're halfway through the tide,
Yeah.
I do like a
And if so, have you ever had that
trace, Rex, just so it
stingray?
moves around a little bit.
How do you reckon that one goes?
Mate,
there?
you've got
Nice?
jewellery. You've got jewellery
no,
on
look,
your line.
Look, I know a lot of people are probably sceptical about this type of thing, but I believe fish are creatures of habit, and if you introduce something foreign or alien to their environment, it will create some sort of curiosity. And red beads, you know, I've
I
done
don't know about
particularly well in
eating
the
stingray.
southern area of New South
They
Wales.
have
in
a
the estuarine
special
systems.
place in the
I thought
heart
I'd give it a
of
go here
Steve
today.
Yeah, well, they normally go for worms, though, Rex.
True
That's
that.
probably why, you know, maybe that shows a little bit of roe or something. Is that what you feel?
Well, let's
Yeah.
just find out how we go.
I think it's
Let's
totally
check
okay
it
to
out,
joke
Ian.
about that.
It wasn't meant to be? Oh, no.
I do think that there are some people who's like, no, but he was such a good
They
bee.
seem to
Yeah,
be
but also
just
he got
a little
stabbed.
bit.
Yeah, but also,
Like, how long have we
He knew
waited
better.
for not just him, but like people like him ever since they've started poking animals, we've just gone, I'd like to see that guy get his...
I like these
And then it
soft-
happens.
What you think
Well,
of
I
the
remember
soft
seeing one
little
episode
tips
of
on
his show where one of those like spitting snakes got him in the eye,
Yeah.
and he was just like, "Whoops!
The way it dived. You see, that is just
Come on, man!
able to recognise
That
what
clearly
fish
sucks
you've got.
more than whoops."
And a nice fish
Yeah.
too. It's late
You
in
need the
season.
pain
Do you
scale
think
descriptions.
these
You need
bigger
the
fish are going
Heidi
to sort of
Peterson
hang
of it
around for a
all.
while?
Yeah,
I wanna
they're
hear
here
how
all
you're
year,
suffering.
Rex, on this particular
Fish
market.
and chips at the pub.
Mate, come here, mate. You want to
Yeah,
get
they like burrowing. They don't
I
like to get
prefer
out of the water, do they?
Slurpees
A lot of
and
our people
bread rolls.
would recognise this as being one of the
From
great
7-Eleven
eating
at the
fish in the
pub.
sea, the King George whiting. You know, his mouth is underneath his head because he burrows through the sand and gets the polychide worms. And Ian, you were saying earlier on that the worm bank is very, very important.
Yes, Rex, they come up into this ground here. It's about the size of 2 living rooms, I'd
So
say.
I kind of missed
And
who
you'll
actually
notice
this
their-
guy
their
is.
mouths
He's
are
a
shaped
guy.
in such a way
I
as
think
they
he's something like
start
that.
first to get all
Clearly
the
a
sand
buddy
on the
of
top
Rex.
layer,
Yeah.
and it'll expose the head
71
of the worm,
months.
and then they
Fucking
get
hell.
that head and drag it out. And that's why the mouth is like that.
That's a lot of
that's
months.
their main diet is worms.
You're the only one in the family who has
Halfway
actively
through an
supported
ebb tide,
my
we're
stream
coming up to prime time. We've got one in the boat.
for more than like
We're
3
sort
months.
of a day, mate.
Great.
You like
Fishing.
fishing.
Oh,
Everyone has
Run
Prime.
out is a lot better.
Everyone has
Rex,
Prime.
I've got
Everyone has Prime.
goes.
The run out.
Mine's
What do you say about the
connected
run
to
out?
Run out is definitely the go.
Mine's connected to us.
Although we have caught very
It's our
The
channel.
one here will take one arm
I need to
and
change the name of it to Stephen and Melody. I
the little,
really
the
do.
little saltwater yabbies.
Bass yabby, yeah.
I also just can't be
Also
bothered
those
doing that
nippers.
because I don't know what the process is like, considering there is another account
He's
called
okay.
Stephen and
From the
Melody.
same school, I'd say, Rex. Look
Yeah.
at
I am
Lovely. Tell us a little bit about
changed my
George
account
Whiting.
over to my main name the
You
other
really
day.
Sit
enjoy
down.
fishing for them, and
Thank you.
so many of
Because
our
it
people
came
who are
free, which is good.
non-anglers rely on the support of professionals to supply these sort of fish. A lot of them come from South Australia. Have you got a favourite way to cook them? Because so many people
Look at the
overcook
view
fish.
out
Yeah,
here.
well, Rex, the whiting is a very clean fish. Anything with that.
What does that
blue
even mean? Does it mean it just doesn't go in the dirt much? Like, I don't understand what you mean.
Oh,
by
clean fish. Clean fish is ones that eat
pure white.
plants
Now,
or
this fish,
other
all you do
fishes
is
or
dust and
bugs
flour,
that are
skin it,
in the
all
water,
scales,
whereas dirty fish eat all of
little bit of egg
the
and
muck,
breadcrumb.
like
okay.
mud eyes,
Fresh
worms,
side down first,
stuff
never
from the
skin.
dirt.
If you put the
And a lot of the
skin
time they
side
will
down,
eat
the
and
heat
swallow a
makes
lot of
it
dirt. It just comes out as poop. It doesn't
So
matter
always
to them,
fresh
but it
side down
affects
in the pan,
the taste of the
minute and a
fish.
half, 2 minutes each
Righto.
side, and you've
So
got
they'll have a
yourself
dirty flavour.
$28
And some people like that flavour, so
main course.
If I was
Best
cooking
eating
fish, it would
fish
be
in the
for
sea.
the
Ian,
dog.
we've got a nice catch here this afternoon. Got anything up your sleeve now besides your arms with the tides getting down?
Rex, do you know what we're going to do?
What's that?
I'm going to guarantee you a pinky. Off Portsea Hotel, where
Yeah.
no one fishes.
Guarantee, mate,
Do you
is
know
a very, very big word on
It
this
is.
show. You know that.
I'm
Weather
sorry.
and fish is a very big guarantee. Say that again.
I am hoping for a pinky. That's better. Let's go and check it out.
Mate, you could blow me over with a cigarette paper here. That's a funny looking Portsea hotel. Although Mud Island at the bottom of Port Phillip.
Yo, what up, Miss
Place for a
Man?
hotel, wouldn't it? But I suppose we are off the Portsea pub. What
Nice
about it?
catch.
Days.
Was it?
It's
I mean-
on everything, Rex, but we're in Salmon's Channel.
Yeah, I don't
And
know.
here we go. We've got one.
I'm not an
Now, This is a
expert,
funny little reef here.
unfortunately.
It runs
Going
8,
for a
10 knots. and
pinky
you'll
in
get
the
a lot of
reef.
We should have
parrotfish.
tried to
I
get
think
Rex
this may be
Hunt
a
on.
parrotfish Mixed up.
Parrotfish.
You know, it wouldn't be that
Mixed up with whiting.
strange if he said yes at right now.
And we've got a leathery.
Like if we had just,
Now,
you
here
know,
we go.
if we just
maybe.
present ourselves off as another random YouTube show, like
Absolutely
he's from that
fantastic.
generation where it's like,
He
oh,
swallows the hook and
YouTube
they're
show.
very, very good at
I would
teeth,
think
don't
nothing
they?
of this, but we may as well do a few of
Have a
them.
look at him. He's got
Kind of like Colin.
He's got a stomach.
Like,
No, I think Colin is just a nice guy.
Look at
Like,
this.
I genuinely think.
yeah, but he's
And what he's done.
published. The Rex Hunt's
He's
publishers might be
chopped that off,
pushing
mate.
him to do a bunch
Oh,
of
okay.
stuff
Aren't
for
they a
the
pretty fish?
book,
6
whatever
spine leather
memoir
jacket. Beautiful
coming out
blue,
thingy.
Colin took us
some
over probably
greys
like
and
a school.
fawns and yellows, but it's the 6 spines on his tail. And that
Very close to
signifies, mate,
death?
that you're going right into the box.
Yeah,
I tell you,
apparently he's
a little
been.
bit of an
He's-
envelope of leather jacket.
I don't know how not well. I mean, it's just the addiction stuff. Does he have anything else going on?
Yeah,
Something
apparently.
else.
Oh, okay.
But we're doing all right here.
What wine
But
would
it
you
was
have
the
for that,
addiction
Rex?
stuff that he was
Wine?
talking
I don't
about,
drink
bringing
wine,
to
mate.
life.
I don't
So
need anything.
it wasn't
Yeah, I
that
looked it
it's
up, and that's all I
the main
found was the addiction stuff. I couldn't find any mention of his.
thing. Or was it just him making a comment on Sam Newman's
What
house
we're looking for, but here
that I saw?
Yeah, there's a
Oh
go.
God.
I reckon this is
Sam Newman,
small
he's
snap,
still
I think
alive.
He's not kicking enough.
I don't know.
But I reckon
I might have seen something else.
Damn.
Channel whiting. Now, it's the same whiting. It's a King George whiting, but out here they get a little bit bigger. Now, you South Australians really have got the home of King George whiting, but we don't get them as big as you do over Kangaroo Island, that sort of thing. But this is a substantial fish, Ian.
That doesn't say anything
And on
about it
such light gear,
on the
lot of
wikis.
fun. See how this tide is now just about, there's only, what, a 15th of it to go, about 10 minutes.
Ooh,
Look, I love
Ooh.
this sort of
you want to
fishing.
hear about the
He's a
airline
nice
incident?
one.
You get
He's
drunk on a
nice
plane.
one.
In May 2004,
Like, he's
Hunt
not-
made a curious
not a
attempt to
front
make a
row
statement about an airline
or-
security which had
Mate, he's
been
a pound and a
markedly
pound,
increased in
£5
Australian
that you've
after
lost.
terrorist threats. Hunt
Now,
was
I'm not disappointed
agitated
that we haven't
and
got a
having
small
to remove
statement
his
yet.
pants
But that to
after
me,
becoming visibly
well,
incontinent.
that represents
He then took 10
one of the
meal
best
forks
fighting
from the
fish in the
Qantas
sea,
Club
one
and
of
took
the
them on
best
board
eating fish in the
Qantas
sea.
flight from
Look at that
Adelaide
red
to
bead
Melbourne.
again. You know, look,
And in
people
an
say,
attempt to
it's
stab a
lot of
man who
rubbish
took
and
his
hoo-ha
pants.
and it's fairy floss and that
He
sort
tried
of
to
thing.
stab someone with a
But I tell you
fork
what,
on an airplane.
so many people say to
Right.
me, folks, you know, look, really, if you had a chance, if this was your last day on Earth and you had to fish somewhere, well, I couldn't go past the southern end of Port Phillip Bay, my beloved Port Phillip Bay, catching
Well,
King George whiting.
He's been diagnosed with
Absolutely marvellous.
bipolar.
And I'm just very, very fortunate to be here. But
Yeah,
Ian,
he's
the
not
pressure's
fit.
going on you now. I'm having some people around after the show tonight.
Not deadly sick.
And they've ordered calamari. Can you or will you help me out?
Only if you give me some beads, Rex.
Some beads. Gonna trade some beads for some fish, is he?
Well, it's a lovely spot here, Rex. Just a light little reef, there's spit that comes out.
Is that a bit of
Sand
good
either
light
side.
humour?
Just amazing that the big ships have
Sorry,
virtually a
I'm
couple
reading.
of
I'm
He-
trying to see.
Rex Hunt drop
He
kicks
said
away.
about like
And the beautiful
getting into
shipping
making
channel,
some
yet this is
calamari,
pristine area.
and he
Yeah, it's only
replied,
about
"Only if you give me
4
some
foot
beads,
deep.
Rex."
Oh, here we go. Look, got one.
Like making
Has
light of the
taken
whole
it.
trading beads for
Here he
Okay.
comes.
Wow.
Well,
something worth a lot more or
They're
something.
pretty
I don't
looking
know.
fish in the
I
water.
have no
calamari,
idea.
aren't they?
yeah, there he goes. He's
Do you-
taken that Yuzuri, little orange one.
Do you find there's any time better than any other to come here?
Oh, just the top of, or bottom of either tide.
Yeah.
We're fishing just the start of the run in here.
Yeah.
He's only a little fella, Rex, but he's cute.
Yeah.
What you
Night
do
play
with
beads.
these, I don't like it at myself. I just get them behind the neck like that
Yeah.
and just bring them up. And he's taken
Type of
those on
beads
the
that
two
you use to
on
win
the
at
lower
chess, right?
feeders, See?
Yeah.
There he is
Now,
there.
Oh,
He's got rid of his ink.
ah,
No, he's going to over you in a minute, Rex.
Well, I hope. What do you do with him once you get him in?
Well, that's the end of him. He can just go in a bucket.
Okay. I'll pop him in the bucket. Well, he's sort
sorry,
of,
that was a nice one.
sort of
That's the end of him. He can go in a
very
bucket.
clever. at,
Jesus Christ.
disguising themselves with camouflage, aren't they?
Oh,
Fish are just so ruthless. Like,
But he'll mould it
Well,
now,
the-
right, money?
The problem is
Amazing,
cuttlefish are
isn't it?
like super intelligent and
Same
cute.
with prime
Like when you go to the aquariums, they
Might be
will
a
just
good
sit there and
half a
hang
dozen
out
legs.
with you.
Yeah, maybe something a bit bigger or even a cuttlefish, mate.
And they'll
You
change
never know,
colours
mate.
for you on demand because they don't need to keep camouflage. Hilarious.
You find with these
Oh.
Zeri squid jigs or any squid jig that if you just give it a little bit of a tease,
squidgy?
the squid might be eyeballing. He might be going up
Oh,
and say,
squids.
if you move it, he'll grab it. Now we're on a bit of a hot spot here at the moment.
It's not bad, is it?
There's a lot of people, particularly the ethnic community here in Melbourne and around the country, who use hand lines. I prefer rods. Now,
Do they?
I'm a rod fisherman. I love
I don't think I've
using
ever
rods.
seen someone fish
I'll
with a
see if
hand
I've
line in my
learned
life, and
from
I'm
what Ian's taught me.
from fisherman
He's a
Melbourne
nice
into
little calamari.
I was forced to go by
I
my
wonder whether
grandfather
he's going to be good
constantly.
enough to get rid of his ink
yeah, was
in
he
the
not more of a
water.
competition fisherman?
Yeah.
We had
Put it
clubs
all
and we
over
went did
First of all, mate,
club
I'd like you
competitions,
to
but that
point
was
the
just
other
for the
direction.
barbecue and to hang out with like-minded
Or
people
Fair
the
all
enough.
on the
slope
same
thing, I
day.
reckon he might be going.
Yeah.
But no,
I
we
think
would
he's
just
upset.
yeah.
You know what he said?
You think he's
He
upset?
said, "That's Rex Hunt, and you watch my show, mate." Thank you
You
very
dirty
much. You
rotten
don't like me
squid.
much, do you? Well,
No,
I
you're
can
gonna
tell
put
you
him
now,
in a
he's given me
bucket.
a nice old
I did
dose
not
of the
hear
old
Corey
business.
Graves talk
Mate,
about
you're going to
MST3K
be in a
anymore.
frying
I
pan.
probably
He's
watch
given
all
me a
this week.
dose. He's given you folks a dose at home too. Yibbida yibbida. We all copped
It's
it,
been a while.
folks.
Yeah.
Yibbida yibbida.
One of the most important things in any style of fishing, be it fresh or salt water, is you have to read the water. Read the water to the extent of knowing where the structures are. The structures in this case are light sand going into dark weed, and this is the home of the southern calamari. But one of the most important things is, Ian, when you tie on that
What?
calamari jig, the squid jig, is you just don't throw it out there and they don't commit suicide.
No, we're fishing in about 10 foot of water here, Rex. So you wouldn't want to be leaving it out in the water too
I
long.
trust
It'll
him
end
more
up in the
because he
bottom,
has a
and
suit
if
on.
you get weed on that jig at the
Even
bottom,
if it is a blue
He
jig.
said
you will not
that
catch
he
a
said that the
calamari.
fish prefer
So
a
what
bit
we
of
do
class.
is we
Yeah.
cast it
So
out
that's
like,
why.
like anything else, cast her out Let us settle
Mate.
there just for a minute.
You're a pain
Give
in
her
the
about
ass.
30 seconds, so she'll get down about 5 or 6 feet. Now what I'm doing is I'm going to work that with my rod. Every now and again,
Down your pop.
work it up,
Come on,
bring
Arch.
it down.
Down your pop.
Bring it in towards you, up,
Off your
down.
pop. Come on.
And that gives the lure a
Okay.
jerking action in underneath the water, and this, of course, attracts the squid.
I love how he's
Just
just nearly
like-
6
just
years
like
of stealing
that.
my
Have a
hard
look at
earned.
that.
Like,
It did
you don't
Well,
work
it
hard.
does work.
It
You
does
don't,
work.
Simon.
Amazing. He's just a
When
little
was the last
fellow,
time you
probably
worked
mate
hard,
size. He can
Patrick?
almost go back, that fella, but have a look at
Yeah.
the colours on it. Well, thanks very much, mate. You've done the old trick again. Just absolutely marvellous. I'm going to let this guy go because I reckon we're in for a couple of good fish here, Ian.
Yep.
You reckon he might be pleased to see the end of me?
No kiss. This is definitely,
Have a look at him.
definitely
You reckon he'd
OG.
take that again, Ian?
Well, he just might. Yeah, they're pretty silly.
Are
Yeah,
they?
you got to
Oh,
get
yeah,
that money
so
shot.
silly.
Mate, he's
gone.
he's headed off. Well, it looks like it's going to happen here with the tide. Let's see if we can knock a few off for tea.
We need at least one
Right.
kiss fish. I promised it in like my tweet.
Well, we've got another one here, Rex. Come in. A little bit
He
deeper.
might- he might
water.
make a
may be
liar
bigger
out of you.
fish, I hope.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the first
Yeah,
time
about it. Like,
that Rex Hunt made a liar
Let
out of
that
me.
drop a little bit deeper.
did you?
Yeah.
That's weirdly
and,
specific.
Yeah, here's a bit fish, as you can see.
Yeah.
Lovely.
They must breed like flies, do they?
Well, they're fairly intelligent. They take plastic prawns.
See, they're a pretty colour too in the water.
Look at
aren't
him. Look at that.
they? And have a look at his mate over there, Ian.
Yeah, well, you can get... Yeah, there he is.
Yeah.
His mate's in underneath. You threw another lure on there,
Plastic
you'd get
prawns,
him.
huh?
There goes
Oh.
the wink. Just behind the neck. Look at that. Yeah.
Well, that's terrific.
Oh, just sensei. Of course, we have the Italians and the Greeks to thank us for eating these. Rex, 15 years ago, we would just use these for bait, wouldn't we?
There's no doubt about this. They're fine piscatorial delights on the plate, aren't they?
Sensational.
Yeah. Ian, I want to thank you because what you've done is you've given up your day when you should be cooking
Oh, we see some crew.
for your boss. And I just want to say how delightful it's been to fish with you on television because you and I have had many, many great days on the water. And what I get across to our people on the show is that that's most of the fun of fishing, sharing it with someone.
Exactly, Rex.
I hope you've enjoyed it.
Well, it's been a great day.
Will you join us again on a Rex Hunt trek to a marvellous piscatorial wilderness?
Most definitely. Preferably as far away from ports
He
as
said
possible, so it costs plenty of
piscatorial.
money.
You know, one of the things that really gets up my skirt or my trousers is so many people are meticulous in their fishing, but they don't look after their fish. Look, half of the enjoyment of catching fish is eating them. The King George whiting, absolutely magnificent.
Okay,
You
so
can
fishing
scar
isn't
them,
fun.
You can put the knife into the vent
Because
and gut
half
them
the
and
enjoyment
bake them,
is
but I
hanging out with
prefer
a
just to
friend,
take
and the other
some
half
leaf,
is eating it.
a
Yeah.
fillet.
I mean,
Straight
you
off
were fishing. You
the
did
edge of the
fishing.
Oh, just
And there's
following
our
his
beautiful
logic, that's
fillet.
all.
Now,
I
You should know
agree.
that.
I agree, but it's nice to hear someone say
bones,
it.
which I can just get out by simply.
I went
running the
fishing with
knife
my
down
dad a
there
few
like that,
times, and I never
throwing
cared about the fishing
entrails back
part.
into the sea because that will be gone in a couple of hours, and then running the knife up from the tail. I go that far, and then all I do is pull the skin and the flesh between the knife, and what happens then?
Fishing is definitely
is
not
a
fun. I
beautiful,
mean,
beautiful fillet.
yeah, it's
of
the
King
act
George
of fishing that
whiting
is not
will melt in the
right.
mouth.
But again, it's
If
the
you have
hanging
to
out
wash
with
it, you
buddies
dip it in the salt water
and then eating
always.
food.
But
Doesn't even have to be
always,
food you
folks,
caught.
Clean the fish
No,
in the
you
water
go
you
fishing
caught.
with your
You
friends
caught
and then go
trout
to the
or
fish and
yellowbelly,
chip shop.
Clean them in fresh water.
Yeah.
You catch a
If I'm going fishing, I'm not even putting a hook on my line. I'm just
Now,
I did that once with one of my buddies.
just put a sinker on it.
Ulrich,
Then
and his
Go on in
ex-wife
this fella. He's a
got
leather
really
jacket,
annoyed
the
at
old
us
six
because
spiner.
she wanted to
Simple
actually
thing
go
to do with
fishing and we
these,
just wanted to
behind
go
the
get
spine,
drunk at
go down
on the shore.
through the top of
Yeah.
the neck and the backbone.
I mean, that makes
Pull
sense.
away.
I,
Now,
Like
what
we actually
happens
got
is it
upset
gets all
because
his
there was
gut
no
cavity
fish
away,
biting where
and that
she
goes over the side for the crabs and
went
that to
at the
eat.
start.
And
Oh
then we
god,
just
all the
sit
guts.
with
It's like
Elvis
2% of the
Presley on the
fish.
old
And
leather jacket. We
and she wanted to go somewhere
leave
else. And
your
we're like,
hat
but
on,
we're
but
just
we take
drinking
his
in the
coat
sun.
off,
We don't want to go
and by simply
somewhere else.
running
Yeah.
But
the finger and the
fishing!
thumb
Ah!
between all of the meat, what we can do is successfully denude this particular fellow. And what I prefer to do is that I prefer
That's
just to
horrifying.
egg and breadcrumb them or a little bit of flour.
Ah!
That's absolutely fantastic. If you must or you want to take a fillet off, what you can do is you can run down alongside the backbone, take it through there like that, and once again, quite simply, taking away that rib cage bone, and that's getting all the bones out of there so they don't get stuck in grandma or the kiddie's throat.
You give him the
Washing it
wrong
in the
dong.
water, And there you are, folks. King George Whiting, 6-spine leather jacket.
Again,
A
just
couple of days with a little
don't even put a
bottle
hook
of
on the
wine.
line. Get some
Absolutely
brewskis,
Magnificent.
and you'll probably have a good time.
Yeah. Just get some stuff to put under your nose when you're there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want.
So you can just have to smell it.
I mean, look, honestly, I wouldn't care anyway if I was drinking.
One of the most important things in
I'm
going
keeping a brave
fishing
face, but
anywhere
that last scene did
is
kind of
local
make me feel
knowledge.
queasy.
And
And I'm
the
perfectly
best pieces
good
of
with
local
it.
knowledge
Yeah, I
we
know.
have on board today.
The thing is,
Jeff
it's not up
Wilson
here. Like,
himself.
I'm just like, what the hell?
John Brace has lived
I don't
in this
care about
area
watching,
around
but my
Streaky
stomach
Bay
starts to do
in
weird
western
stuff.
South
Watching them
Australia
eat it would be grosser
since
to
the early
me.
1950s. For over a quarter of
Just
a
because I
century,
find seafood disgusting.
I don't know. I'm getting older and
John,
more
after
like
today, I know
sensitive.
that they're
I
razor
watched
fish,
one of
and a lot of our
those
people who saw our
GMM
Whyalla
episodes
show
where
would
they were
know
eating
that.
stuff, and
What
they were
actually is a
eating
razor fish?
like fish stuff,
It's a
and I
shellfish,
actually
very
gagged.
sharp.
I'm like, why would I do that?
it's gross.
Yeah, I know it's gross, but I've
It's
never
also
been
got,
so like
added
reactively
interest as-
visceral
it's a
to
very
anything I've ever watched
delicate,
before. It's like something
food
that's
source.
happening as I get
Yes.
older.
and very much sought after as just for the.
I mean, look, I am the sort of person who is like
Are they commercially
more than
under
happy
any
to
pressure
go
at all?
vegan.
No, they're not commercially under pressure.
But it's not because I,
South Australian government,
know,
and
I'm-
fisheries management.
I'm not okay with the idea of eating animals.
I'm not even talking about that with the, seeing the fish.
I
It's
just
just
think
it's,
that-
it's more like a trauma, like remembering the smell and the,
I mean,
the whole
yeah.
thing is gross.
Again, the smell is definitely not the best.
Is this
but-
your own little contraption?
Yeah. This one's mine. I've
Gives
had
me
this one
memories
for
of
about 20
hooking my
years.
hands and getting fish juice in my wound and thinking that was
Engineer
like
here
the
years
worst
ago,
thing in the world.
Basically invented these.
Yeah. So you just drift
It's like
over the
I
top and
don't
take
want to
them.
be a
Do you find
superhero. Can I not
that-
be a
that
fish
there
one?
are
And the
certain
bus driver, he
areas where
definitely
these
does this a
particular
lot. Like,
bivalve mollusks
he's
are bound?
Yeah, I picked
after
this
he
area
stopped
here
playing
because it
football,
hasn't
this
got
became
much
his
other
life.
areas,
Yes, he's
and your heart's a lot
24/7.
cleaner.
Yeah.
How many
You can see
times
that
did he
the
go
environment
out
just loves them. You've
filming
got
an
the cockles
episode
and
and
the
didn't
barnacles.
So,
actually
like-
take a camera crew?
Oh no, he probably did.
Fantastic
It's just,
bait for whiting, John.
you know.
Oh, how much is on the cutting room
Do we
floor
only
then?
get razor fish
Well, I mean, they
in
probably
South Australia?
film for about 20 to 30
Well,
minutes
I've
per
got to
trip.
believe, I'm
Like,
not too certain,
yeah.
oh,
but
got something on the line, start filming
these
kind of deal.
guys-
Or I've got something to
Of course,
say.
water temperature would come into it as well.
Well, I can tell you now, the old razor fish, Jeffrey. Well, what we've got here apparently is the best bait for King
Yeah,
George
Rex Hunt,
Whiting. We
like,
didn't come for razor fish, but we've
was
really,
a footballer
this is
and
fantastic.
in a
Razor
place
fish,
where
hooks are razor sharp. Jeff and
back
I
to the
are
guy in the head
looking
with it.
at the
In a
best
place where like
South
footy
Australia's
is
streaky bay.
everything. I mean, like when we were coming over to the pub, just how many people were
Oh, yeah.
in footy colours?
It was not even was it even a huge game? It was just a game, wasn't it? When
Yeah,
we went out on the
it was
weekend,
just-
it was
a game. Yeah,
too many people out.
You're getting
it was
there.
just football people everywhere. And then when there's any kind of
Put
football
your
on
rod down.
in Melbourne or
Rod
Geelong,
down
it
and
doesn't
come over here
matter.
and grab this
My
other
work
rod.
is
I've got a
extremely
fish
busy
on
that
here.
day,
This one just
guaranteed.
went.
Like
I want you to
guaranteed,
take the
it's
slack up.
so
I don't
busy
know
that
whether it was
day.
a whiting or not.
And yet he escaped from that and went to fishing instead, and that was his career choice.
And then somehow, despite that, he is more known for his
Jeff, you're
fishing
like a rigor
Yeah.
mortis,
than for
saurus or
playing for
whatever they
two of the
call it.
biggest clubs.
Unbelievable.
Is there only two of the biggest clubs? What teams do you play?
He played for
Never seen those
Hawthorn,
balls
St Kilda, and
all over.
Geelong.
They go in
St
and
Kilda
out and they
last.
pirouette,
Hawthorn,
that sort
Geelong,
of
St
thing.
Kilda.
Jeff, you're fishing. You're not playing a violin. For God's sake, pull in. We haven't got enough tape. Now, I've lost my...
See?
Now, Jeff,
Should have brought a spare
this is
tape.
beautiful. What do you think of the outfit?
It's lovely, isn't it? I love those nibble tips.
Do you? I don't mind them myself either. Tell you what, you got a nice fish on here. I reckon you might have a lovely King George Whiting.
That's a King George Whiting, Rex.
He played over 200
Just
games.
fantastic.
There you are.
Please stop whining at the end of that tip, Jeff.
He
That's
didn't
what
play
I'm
for
here. You
Hawthorn?
lift it in, mate. You
He
lift
played
it
for Richmond, Geelong,
in. I
St
tell you
Kilda.
what.
Oh, sorry.
I just wanted
It's
to go
golden
through.
black.
He's
I
another
don't know
Bit of
why.
golden brown.
I was so sure it was
and
Hawthorn.
he's on the top
Golden
snood.
black instead of golden
And see
brown.
that little red
suppose
bead?
so.
That goes down on top of the hook, and that's what I reckon attracts the fish.
I mean,
Got a number 8 swivel up the top.
I grew up hating him
Prevent any
because he
line
was
twist.
always in the public eye, and I wasn't into
12
fishing
pound
or
line
football.
down to
But
a snood of about
he is good
35,
at. He does have the
40
gift of the
centimetres
gab.
down to a
He's an
figure 8
icon
loop
for
knot.
sure.
You can
Not
see
just
that in
an
Jeff
icon,
Wilson's
he's a
marvellous,
good talker.
logbook, because if you
He's
get a tide,
definitely a
and
radio
you want to
guy.
change the sinker, it's just a
He's
matter
got, yeah,
of-
Keep
he's
you
got the
entertained.
charisma. He's got the charisma to be a
You can
good
take the
commentator
sinker off,
and
and going
to be a
down
TV host.
Another 50 centimetres
Oh, I found out
to
something
another
interesting
hook
about his
with
TV
another
show.
bead
the talking footy that he used to do.
King George Whiting
It was
League of
on
eastern,
the wrong station. I
parts of
think
the
it might,
country,
I don't remember
or
where.
in the western
Might have been
parts
on
of the country.
Foxtel or something at one
Absolutely
point.
fantastic.
But
King George Whiting,
no, it was on
folks.
7. They just moved
King
over to
of the
10,
sea.
or it was on 10. They were still on 7. Anyway, the channel the football was
there's
on,
nothing
and
I'd rather
Foxtel would not give Rex
Out in
Hunt
the
permission
boat.
to use any moving images.
versus, but
No footage of football.
absolutely
So if you
fantastic. Because
rewatch
you never know
the
what you're
episodes
gonna
of the
get
shows,
while
it's
fishing on
mostly
Ireland.
just footage
I'm
of
quite
them
happy just
talking,
to sit
and when
here
they
all
cut
day
to something, they
catching
show a
whiting.
still image.
But
That's
look at
bizarre.
this.
So
The
bizarre.
whiskered goatfish.
Considering,
well,
because
that
I
is
would have
the
thought you
technical
could just
name.
use it because
It's a
news
member of the goatfish
stations
family.
do it.
And also known
But
in
when
the
you go
eastern states as a
onto
red mullet,
actual
one
TV
of the
channels, you actually have to like
pretty
check
fish
boxes
of
and
the
get all the
sea.
paperwork.
Have a look at the colours.
Not just throw it up on the
bigger
copyright machine and
whiskers
see
than
if
the
it goes
bearded
through.
burbler of
Yeah,
Richie
true.
Boy. And I'm going to release
Got
him.
way
I'll
more
tell you
to
what,
lose
I'll
in
kiss
there.
him
Yep.
because the Greek fellows reckon that these are
Oh
an
no, is that the
aphrodisiac.
fish blood or
Now,
his
not
on the
only
finger?
that, they're apparently very, very good when you're, you know what I mean.
Kiss it!
You
Yeah, he did
this
it!
young lady, and put you back. And if these are an aphrodisiac, I think we better get some more bait, boys, because I want to catch a couple of kilos of this, because I'm in a bit of trouble at 44 years of age. See you later, baby. Oh,
A
you
double
jumped for
kiss and
joy.
all!
You
Away
fucking
you
what,
go.
mate?
What's he talking about? He's saying he needs some Viagra.
Well, Jeff, when
Maybe?
you're whiting fishing, particularly in
You're gonna
our
have
neck
all
of
the
woods,
pills.
You would think that the bait
Oh yeah,
board
we got
would
kiss
just
cam
absolutely
bits.
littered with pippy.
You
With a
finally
hole.
got you finally got it.
Anything, but
No one can
razorfish
call you a
is
liar
do
now.
you squid with it.
Yay! We'll
The
have to
razorfish,
still
and even
image
cheap
it, put the
customer,
kiss
Jeff, have a
cam
look at
logo
that.
around it.
Absolutely marvellous, Rex. Well, actually, this is the muscle which holds the two shells together. As we all know, the razorfish is a bivalve
So
mollusk.
now we've opened it up and we can
And
see
this
its
is the part which
guts.
is mainly favoured of bait. Also,
I liked it better when it was in
Yeah,
full.
but
It really
this
did
is
look like
the,
something you
body
just whack
of the
Abel
razorfish,
over the head
body
with.
and gut
Yeah.
of the razorfish,
Yeah.
which is also very good for burley. Also very, very good for bait.
Quite a full shell, isn't it?
Well, yes, there's
Quite a
quite a
pretty
bit
shell
of
as
meat
well.
in there.
Now, what about the old? Is it a cephalopod? The squid, is it? Do you like that, Jeff?
A cephalopod.
A cephalopod. Well, I didn't go to the same
Cephalopod,
school
I
as
don't
you, but
know.
I tell you what, tell us a little bit about it and show us how we prepare it for whiting.
Oh, well, the squid Rex is just simply cut up for whiting. Just
The
simply
squid
open
Rex.
the squid right up through the mantle with a knife, just simply like that. Now, I've done a bad thing here. I've broken the ink sac, but you can't win every time.
No.
I simply take the head and the insides straight out like that, and what you're left with is the body, which has
Wash it.
the backbone in there. I just simply take the backbone out.
At least now they can pennel it at
Just a
home.
transparent bone like a feather. Just simply take that out from the body of the squid.
Yeah,
and
there's
all
shit
it's now
everywhere in this
left
house.
to do is
It's
to
a
take
bluey
the
stand.
wings
Yeah, it's
or
been
fins
chewed on
from
a
the
little
body.
bit. Very
That's what he
chewed.
was doing.
Okay.
And
God
what
damn
we're
it,
left
Archie.
with is a
Cleans up
nice
nicely.
white piece of flesh. Well, it will
Keep
be
it
a
in
nice
quiet.
white piece of flesh when I give it a rinse in the water.
Right, I'll do that for you then. So why are squid such good bait, Jeffrey?
Yeah, you can
Well,
just
for
keep
one
that
thing,
now.
Rex, the
It's
fish
fucked.
like to eat them, but
Arsehole.
probably what is
Whoa,
most
look at that
important
hat.
is they're very, very firm indeed.
Wash your hands, please, Jeff. Very firm, yeah.
Very, very firm indeed. They stay on the hook. And whereas if you're using a pippy, a mussel or something like that, the first bite may take the bait
He was
completely
just
off the hook.
telling him off for
You
washing,
always
not
have a
washing
second,
his
third or
hands.
fourth chance with squid.
Now, if I was a whiting fisherman using squid on a regular basis, I would use something like that. But it appears, Jeff, that the way they do it over here is they either beat that with a mallet or they kill it. And what they do is they soften it. So
Why? Ew!
Don't put it in your mouth.
But how would you reckon that would go for a bit of bait?
Absolutely.
Well, it all looks
Good idea.
fantastic. And this heart here, apparently this is what they eat. And here we are. Johnny Brace, our skipper, has prepared a little bit of pre-fishing lunch for us. Jeff, there you are. Don't eat it all at
We're
once.
going sushi. No, wash your...
You think it is? Well, I'll give it a go myself. Is it all right?
Delightful. Absolutely delightful.
I tell you what, it is delightful. I just hope the fish
But it's
are
not.
the same way.
Very nice.
It's not, is it? Spit it out.
You're not saying sour now.
No, he had the ink all over his
The
fingers.
operative word in relation to schoolfish. It attracts the fish into the area where you're fishing. And, oh, I had a bit of a taste
I can
of
tell you what it is.
All right,
It's
go
fresh.
back there. Starting to get a little bit of
So
action.
fresh.
Yep, it's fresh.
Not mine. Just another little whiskered goatfish. You on?
Yes, we've got something
Good
here,
man. No worries. Well, this is now starting to come into a nice bit of time. I'll put mine back there, Jeff, if you wouldn't mind. There he goes. We might
And the thing about
concentrate on
Australia
what
is
we've
we're
got
kind of
over here.
loose with those laws about having people appear on video
Well,
on our
King George
TV.
Whiting at the
Like you
price
don't
it is
always
in the
have to
market.
get like
It's not-
releases and
Well, it
stuff.
could be. It's a
So
flat-
none
it's
of
a
those fish
lovely
had to sign
flathead.
any release.
True.
Beauty.
Well, there you
Let's
go.
get to
Tell you what,
witness
we're
their
getting a
fucking
lovely
murder
array of
and
piscatorial delights there, Jeffrey.
Absolutely.
Hey, what sort of a flathead is that?
Well, let's have a look at it.
What do you reckon?
It's apparently a thing in Australia. I heard a UK
That's one of the
comedian
worst
talk about
flatheads,
how
right?
she
See how
was
the spines
she nearly
on their
drowned
back
at
are
Bondi
even in
Beach
length?
and got
It's
saved.
got white spots, Jeff.
And they
Yeah,
wanted
well,
to
the
put her
white
on
spots
an
get a bit
episode
loose,
of
but-
Bondi Beach.
yeah.
Blue
And she
white
wouldn't
spot.
sign the waiver
No,
because
it's
she
a
didn't
blue-
really
it's a
want to be
blue
on it. And they're
spot
like, well, it was just a formality to ask you. We don't actually have any laws that say otherwise in Australia. You're going to be on the episode.
Get into the burley, locate the fish, learn to read
They'd
the
probably
water.
blow
That
their
is one of the
face.
most important lessons here today. Read the water.
To be honest, if that happened to me, I'd be like, yeah, my only thing is I want a copy of the footage. I want more footage.
Light and dark patches is the essence in King George Whiting fishing. Have a look at this, Jeff. I tell you what, there's some lovely fish around. Now, that's a nice King George Whiting, mate. I tell you what, that is absolutely fantastic. You
Fishies!
know, fishing is a great pastime. It doesn't matter whether you own acres upon acres or big buildings or you're on the dole. It doesn't matter. It's a great pastime. Jeff, what would you do if you were a rich man, really? What would you do?
If I were a rich man, deedle-diddle-dum, all day long I'd go fishing.
He would
just
pay
fun.
for the license
If
to
I
have
were a
this on
wealthy
the...
man.
Well, Jeffrey,
You are not a rich man, deedle-diddle-dum, so don't come out here sitting on your big fat bum.
I've got another one, Jeff. You wouldn't read about this, would you? I tell you what, we're rehearsing that. That's just... Oh, Jeff, I'm sorry. Really, what I've got to do is pull
I
in.
liked how he immediately revealed that they rehearsed that.
Unbelievable, mate. And you know, folks, the best way to catch two fish, you know,
Doubles.
Jeffrey, what is it?
Sing to
Two
them.
hooks, mate. I tell you
Oh,
what, you
two
can't
hooks.
catch two fish with two hooks. King George Whiting, South Australia.
We bought this video for $39.99, and what we get is you can't catch two fish without two hooks. Nice.
Fighting fish.
Oh, we're in the
And I
kitchen now.
suppose eaten more than any other fish around Australia.
And he's still got his
And
vest
Rene
on.
Graber has joined me. He's the executive chef here at the International Lakes Hotel. Just a couple of Andrew Jarman drop kicks from Footy Park. Good to see you here, Rene. How long have you been a chef?
Who's Andrew Jarman?
31 years.
Is he still relevant?
And do you enjoy really cooking fish?
I don't know.
What's the secret in cooking fish?
Do you enjoy cooking fish really nicely?
Undercooked,
No.
Fair dinkum, sir.
specifically a fine fish like whiting.
Do you think far too many at home looking at you today will overcook fish and then say, oh, I didn't enjoy it and don't
I
go
would
back
say
to it?
that's the biggest mistake.
Now, am I right in saying whiting, lovely to catch and
He don't want to be on camera.
One of the finest in Australia.
You've got one of your rip snorting recipes for us, Rene.
Yes.
Take it away, son.
Here we go. There is some butter in a pan.
I think he was
Spread
more
some
of like a
whatever you
shut up
happen
and
to
just let me
use.
cook, please.
Yep.
Spread some chopped onions in it.
You need a bit more onion than that.
Paste
Come on,
some
bro.
whiting in it. Then we add some white wine
Onions are like
Like
garlic. When it says one, you put
and
three.
nothing else because
Three.
the fish, being fresh,
Four.
has a flavor of its own. And it will come out just nice and natural that way.
Gee, that looks just very, very simple.
Now, of course, we leave it there
I
for
came here for
about,
something fancy.
9-10 minutes. Meanwhile, we can prepare our
Meanwhile!
to go with it. Again, plain and simple, not to spoil the delicate flavor of the fish.
You're Rex
When
looking
the
around.
fish is
He
being
looks
cooked in about
disgusted.
10 minutes, I would
What we
say
doing?
we'll
He's like, I could do that.
fillets.
Yeah.
2 minutes will be plenty. Again,
How many Michelin
undercooked,
stars you've got?
undercooked.
So wait, the less you cook the
Here's one I
food,
prepared earlier.
the more stars you get.
Take the
Is it
fish
still hot?
out.
So that's just been cooking in its...
In its
That looks
fine,
appetizing.
own juice, with
Does
a bit
it?
of onion.
No.
Gee, that
What we
just
do
looks
next?
lovely.
What we do next,
Oh, dude.
as you can see, is beautiful white skin.
Well, the skin just comes off in one bit. You're not going to get any of that in your mouth.
Oh, yeah, great.
You know what my grandma's
That's just
favorite
the
bit
highlight of
is?
King George whiting. It's
The
just
eyes?
a beautiful texture, isn't it?
That was a guess. Ew.
Yes.
Yeah, she'll suck them out.
Ew, dude. Old people are gross.
Old people
What
are
does
so
them?
gross.
Right.
We place it on the plate.
Beautiful.
Gee.
Then
Gee.
we go over and prepare our sauce, which is a basic white wine sauce. Any housewife, anybody could
Any housewife?
easily prepare.
So a nice white wine sauce.
Excuse me, Nick.
Certainly.
I need the whisk.
Oh, beautiful.
Lovely white wine
Yeah,
sauce.
dude. I'm definitely big into seafood. It's my favorite food in the world.
Has a lovely
I'm known to be a connoisseur.
Gee.
We strain that into our white wine sauce.
Fucking disgusting.
Beauty.
Oh, did you see what he just did?
He put basically the
Gee, that smells
The runoff
yeah, like
into the sauce. The fishy juice.
Bring it to the boil.
I don't want that.
I don't want that.
Couple of minutes.
Sick for getting better. Ah, shit.
Now we
Well,
add
at least you're getting better. We can
fresh marjoram and
say that's a
fresh
good thing
thyme.
at least.
Of
Did you
course,
get the COVID or are you just
there's
mentally
nothing wrong
unstable?
with using dried herbs. If you happen
My
to
wife's
have
mentally
the
unstable.
availability to fresh.
I think sometimes I am
And
too.
as you can see, I put quite
She's
a bit
sick.
in it. It is a complementary flavor to any delicate fish.
Certainly.
And right at the end, we add a bit of chopped parsley. Again, quite a bit.
Gee, you're certainly not shy on putting a bit in. Looks just lovely, doesn't it?
Bring it nicely to the boil.
Parsley sauce.
Then we go back to our whiting.
Gee.
And then we go back in time when we caught it and we just put it back.
Now, if
Put
viewers
it
at home
back.
will smell this, you know, through the television set.
Spilling all around. Yeah, he doesn't seem that.
Could make to the smell.
I'm telling you, it is.
I don't
I can
know.
hear the phones ringing now for that lovely recipe. What are you calling this? Because this looks just so simple.
This is called whiting
Dish.
sugoas. It's actually a Swiss recipe.
Is it really?
Yeah, we do that, I used to do it when I was in Switzerland, with any delicate fish from the lakes there. And here I adapted it to the King
So-
George whiting.
2 tomatoes.
So if it's from Switzerland, if I eat this, I might be able to yodel, might I? Yodel-a-dee-doo.
It does work, yes.
It does.
Oh,
see,
he
yeah,
can yodel.
I've only smelled it.
He hasn't even eaten the fish yet.
Gee,
Well, it's not going to be long before I taste
'Cause
this
it's all he eats.
magnificent concoction
Fair enough.
here.
If we want to learn how to
That is just
yodel.
absolutely
Garnish the
superb.
con-
I'm gonna go without.
A bit of fresh herbs, and you have a perfect dish for a good dinner party.
Gross.
Well, if I cooked it for my guests, we might use a bit of tea tree.
I'd eat the
something like that.
tomatoes.
Looks absolutely sensational.
After
I can tell
kind
now,
of wiping
you
the
know what's going to
disgusting
happen to that one.
fishy
But isn't it
sauce
marvellous
off.
when we go out and catch fish that it can end up like something like that without a minimum. With
I like
with
the
a minimum of
garnish.
fuss,
What
I
is
should say.
that?
Isn't that lovely?
It looks like one of the sprouts off one of my
Well,
And we don't take the time
cactus
from the
plants.
fish.
isn't that marvellous? Renee, thank you very much.
Thank you, Rex.
Give it a go. Magnificent.
Oh, he didn't taste it. He didn't taste it.
God, I don't eat fish.
Australia's bite, all part of Australia's marvellous southern ocean.
That reminds me of when
Australia.
that famous French guy
But over the years,
made up
many
those
mariners have
mussels
come to
and
grief
spaghetti
along this
for
particular stretch of water.
what her
That's
name?
why it
What's her
pays
name?
to
Ruth.
take care in small
You watched
boats
the medical
when you're
video
fishing off the
about
rocks and the surf.
the right tablets, and then
Jeff
she's
Wilson
like
and I
holding the
are
plate
here
of
at the
spaghetti.
express invitation of the Striggy Bay Progress Society, and
Like
they reckon that this particular place behind us is a red-hot fishing place.
Red
With the
hot.
roughness of that particular ocean out there, no wonder they call this the smooth pool.
The
Okay,
smooth
Jeffrey,
pool.
go with it, baby.
I prefer the king pool.
Nobody calls it that. This is just for television.
I mean, he didn't say who they are. They could just literally be him.
Because it's so rocky and so weedy, is no sinker.
And he may actually call it that.
Mm.
You are, and you're on. Jeffrey. I don't know what it is.
Well, as
But
much as I
we're
didn't
gonna
want to
soon
watch
find
this
out.
show when I was young, I
Soon
really
find
have
out,
not
mate, because it hardly
minded
hit the
watching
bottom.
him this time around.
No, no.
The fishing bit I could go without, but as a personality, he deserves to be where he is.
Sweet, but
That
Yeah.
diving thing, I can't see much here because it's so dark. But I tell you what,
I'm allergic to
reckon
disgusting
I'll tell you,
fish
it's a
recipes. So
I tell you what.
Expansion pack.
Now, can
Expansion
you
pack.
believe
yeah,
it,
I've
Jeff?
actually
I
installed
can't. I
the.
can now because I just caught him.
What are we
That
talking
is a
about?
lovely
The
King
rivet
George
suits?
Well done, Rex.
I tell you what,
Did it
here's
pop
a
up
place
on here?
where-
It does not for
well,
some
we're in a little
reason.
dinghy, and folks, you
Weird.
have to be careful when you're really using dinghies like this.
think it's
Although this is, you can't get much trouble here. But make sure there's always a couple of you. And make sure all your safety gear's on board. But it just seemed to us that fishing off the ledge, well, you may get caught in the kelp or the rocks. And Jeff, that's not a bad sort of a whiting.
It's a very, very nice whiting, Rex.
My word. Well, we came here for Trevally and we've caught a King George whiting. The bonus of fishing. You never know what you're going to get. And that's why we all go fishing. It's called the mystery of the hunt.
It's gonna work now. There we go.
No pun
Oh.
intended, folks.
Some Donkey Kong.
Yeah, and there was a wrong dong before. All fixed. I still have all the Donkey Kong emotes on there from when I used to do 101s of the drunk variety.
Jeff, this is frustrating for me because I'm
I
missing no
remember that.
sector. I think it's another
You
whiting
wouldn't.
that has yellow in it. But horses for courses, I think it's
I
a
remember
good
starting,
lesson for the
and then you were
viewers.
like, "Oh no, he started!" And then
No
you
matter
lost
where
your
you're
glasses
fishing,
trying to
you've
get
gotta
hit to
really
my
just
house real quick.
Yeah.
Go with the elements. Reading that
And then
sizing up the situation,
Yeah.
the tide's on the way out.
we got very
The
drunk.
water's getting shallower, shallower, and shallower. And
I think
you
that was the
see,
last one I ever did.
this could be another whiting by the way he's darting around, Jeff.
Rex, absolutely.
Now, I'm pretty pleased. You know why, Jeff? Because I've had to think like a fish. And while it's getting a little bit shallow here, this little deep drop-off has been the downfall of these particular fish. Now, don't they go with this beautiful light rod? There's no doubt about it.
He said he's
And it's
thinking
another
like a
whiting.
fish.
Like,
Fish doesn't
or
think
is it?
about the rod like that.
The fish just sees the bait and is like, "Ooh, food."
I saw the silver,
Huh?
Saw the
but
flash there.
can you start seeing the way that he's starting to go thump, thump? Look at the action of that. Now, that's a good
Thump,
lesson for
thump.
people, isn't it? I'm not pulling, the fish is pulling, and what I'm doing is I am using that rod as a shock absorber. It's a sort of a, piscatorial bungee sort of a thing, isn't it?
He says that word a lot,
I'm going to lift this
piscatorial.
fish in. I reckon what we've got.
What does
is a trevally.
piscatorial mean?
I'm sure we've got as a trevally.
It's
Now,
just
isn't
something
that
to do with the ocean,
absolutely
yeah?
marvellous.
Like pescatarians only
Gee
eat fish.
whiz, the old trevally. Beautiful to eat. A nice oily fish. The tail signifies just power personified. A little mouth. So what we do is we use long shank.
Yes, it also
number
means
6
you won't
or
be able to
number
talk. You're right,
hooks,
Nabastro.
Baited with pippy. They call them in South Australia.
Oh,
cockle.
he didn't even
And
put it
Jeff,
in his mouth.
There is no way known that the South Australian cockle isn't one of the finest baits in the sea.
Absolutely marvellous bait, Rex.
Just absolutely a top all-round bait. And this is a top all-round spot.
Ah, it's still stuck to my mouth.
Help me! Or even kill me! Kill me! Kill me!
Right around the back there, right around over there, and cut me off over there.
Jeff, I won't be singing any songs this time, Jeff, but you know the famous piano player that James Dean was on with Humphrey Bogart? You know what he said?
I don't know
He
what
said-
he said, Rex.
Play it again, Sam. You know what I'm going to say? Play it again, Jeff.
Did you see that, Rex?
He never said that though.
Didn't he?
No, he never actually said the word play it again, Sam. He was talking to Sam and said play it again. And people added the thing so that they knew what the reference was from. But it's another misquote, like Luke, I am your father.
Jeffrey,
Yeah.
The quote is I am your
look at the
father.
end of that
No,
rod now.
I
He's
am
not just
your
giving him
father.
some
You
line.
put Luke
He
in
doesn't
so you know
even
what you're talking
He's
about.
on, but he
Yeah,
does
instead
now.
it
He
should be
must.
no.
I am your father, this is a Star
Tell
Wars
you what,
reference.
you know, Jeff, I
My
might
name's
you're a
not
journalist.
No. It's Luke. That's the real
We
quote.
have the opportunity of travelling all over the globe and catching
No, I am your
probably bigger
father.
than ourselves.
My name's Luke, dude. You got the wrong guy.
Oh.
Ah!
And I think the folks at home really appreciate it too.
Well, I think that's where the fun is, Rex. I mean, you can have the fun without the emotional involvement of catching big fish.
Yeah. Another medium-sized trevally. that
Yeah,
are
all you need is
absolutely just beautiful.
some
That's
beers
one of
and
the
no
best
hook on your line, and you're
eating
gonna have a good
size
time.
fish as far as I'm concerned.
The quote should
Don't
be,
they fight?
"Hi, hungry,
Well,
I am
folks,
your
what I
father."
haven't got is I haven't got a sinker on because we're fishing in a broken ground area. Broken ground is a mixture of shell, weed, rocks, boulders. And what have you got, Jeffrey? You've got
I'd rather not say.
a parrotfish, have you? But I tell you what, it's a fair sign that something's going to happen. The old parroty, Jeffrey.
That's
They've got a
parrotfish.
decent set of dentures, haven't they?
Yes.
Stick your finger in its mouth.
Decent set of
Got a
dentures.
decent
Prove it.
set of dorsal spines too.
Yeah,
I
they have too.
don't know whether I've encountered this particular little chap before. Oops.
I wonder why they were put on the planet.
Dropped him on the floor.
Oh, probably just my house fix.
Do you think so?
I would say so. Yeah.
But he's a lovely little fella.
He's a lovely
Will
little
we
thing,
slip him
isn't
back?
he? I think we'll slip
You
him
want to
back.
kiss him, Jeff?
I won't kiss him, Rex, if you don't mind. I'll just slip him back in the water.
That's all right. Well, I'm going to kiss this one. You know why? Because he's going on my dinner plate tonight. Thank you very much. Another one.
Too bad muscle memory didn't kick in. Oh!
That would have been really funny. He'd already suffocated. The end of his name was Joe. Joe.
Joe.
Joe.
It's back in.
Joe.
The post-production was done by Icon.
Call him Christmas?
He's from Christmas Island.
Founded it.
1994.
Very good year.
Yeah.
Almost as old as I am.
Yeah, almost?
I'm 91.
Oh. I'm only 39.
I'm 6.
Yay, fishing. That was fun.
I'm positive it said 70 minutes on the back.
You want to sit and wait the extra 10?
I mean, I don't have anything else to do today.
I think it does the coloured bars if you're lucky.
Uh-oh. Prepare thine eardrums.
I mean, you're right. It does say 70 minutes. Like,
And we are right on an hour. So.
what did they think we were going to do for the other 10
Maybe
minutes?
the tape just runs for 10 minutes and they just timed it by how long the tape goes for.
Or it could be one of those things with like the master. You know how we noticed like the ticket timer doesn't go if it's never been recorded on?
Yeah.
Maybe like the transfer was bad, had the extra 10 minutes, and
Could
they just
be,
looked
yeah.
at the time thingy, yeah. Fishing. Whoa. Oh, we got some.
No, it stopped.
It stopped after 42 seconds.
Not even close to 70 minutes, bro. I feel ripped off.
Yeah. I love getting ripped off by tapes. Makes me confident in my choice today. It wasn't such a high-end video after all. It was an interesting turn and change to watch something that seems.
Yeah, we've been on a bit of a rampage lately with things like home videos and,
Well, not just that. Like even the stuff that is better quality that we've seen on the show, we've never seen while we were younger. Like this is something we watched.
Yeah,
Well,
but
I think we've
I'm
done
just
a couple
saying,
of
like,
cartoons.
compared to lately, this has been it definitely has been a tone change, but a welcome one. I know we talk about how much we love the home videos and how much we love certain kinds of tapes, but...
Making fun of people is easier when they're trying to be cool, rather than like,
Yeah,
innocent
but also,
videos.
like, no. Actually, no. Now that I think about it, I disagree with that, because that Holiday in Phuket had some pretty racist shit going on, and we definitely sent him up about that.
Yeah.
Whereas Rex Hunt was just fishing, and we were just laughing at his banter and being like, "Ugh, fish."
It's just
It
a
was
different style.
It was fun.
Do you have any cravings for anything else?
Not in particular.
Not in particular? I'll find something. I think I know a video that I want to check out, rip, and play next week.
Okay.
I think we're going to keep on a similar thought train. We'll stick with the depression thing.
Okay.
And we'll stick with Rex Hunt playing football. I have a depression and football PSA video-y thing. Like, how to keep your players happy sort of thing that Dennis Pagan owned and tried to implement onto his players so they weren't depressed.
Onto Carlton, and then they lost every game.
I mean, I haven't checked out the tape itself, but it kind of seems like something that could be an absolute gold winner.
It could be. It has potential to be filled with like random pseudoscience and like
Yep.
Just complete bullshit.
Yeah, so I'm hopeful on how it turns out. We'll see how long it goes. I might have to throw in a couple other footy things, or maybe even a couple of depression things, or one of each. That'd be fun if it goes for half an hour and I get like a couple of 5-minute videos as well. We'll see. Usually when I talk about what we're going to do next week, I never actually do that.
It usually ends up different. Yeah. At this point, like, if we were to do a next time on Obscure Tape Time, it would always make it seem like there was a lost episode next week.
All lost episodes.
That said, there is actually lost episodes.
A couple.
It's like 3 or 4, isn't there?
That have gone dark for a bit, yeah.
Yeah. We still have them.
Mm-hmm.
Put them on the Google Drive.
We'll put them up on archive one day.
Anyways, anything else you want to say to the people?
This week's football is a new tape that I've capped because the only couple that we've capped and put up before I've lost the tapes to, and I won't touch them until I find the actual tapes.
Fair enough.
I will find them eventually. It's okay. They can stay on my hard drive until then. But this week's one is a full Channel 7 station tape that has swearing and a slightly racist overtone within the first, 20 minutes.
Cool.
There's a lot... you know when they sit there and they talk about football, it cuts to those bits? Well, this one, for some reason, cut to those bits visually, but didn't have the audio. So they're talking, but all we hear is the ground's radio station playing Faster Than a Speed of Light by Madonna. So it's an interesting bit of a watch. I watched a bit of it while I was ripping it. And yeah, I like the footy stuff.
Well, look, we just got rated by Blake.
Oh, we're leaving.
We're finished, bro. Welcome, Raiders. But unfortunately, we're Dunsky, bro. We're
go watch the replay and
watch the replay. Go onto the YouTubes and watch them all.
Go check us out. We rip old VHSs and see if they're funny, and if they're not, we put them up, and if they are, we put them up.
Yeah. We watch the whole things.
That's who we are.
That's something that barely anyone else does. Like, there are people who put the whole tapes up. There are people who stream the whole tapes. There are people who stream bits of tapes. We sit down and actually pay attention the whole time. So
try to, and invite you to do so with us.
I will be off to go to bed.
But we are also going off to touch the grass while you go on the bed.
I don't know. Do you want something you want to do?
No. I just thought, it's a nice day. You can go touch the grass.
Maybe. I didn't sleep very well last night.
That's fair enough. It is a nice warm day though, so you might get a nice sleep.
Maybe.
I know I get nice sleeps on warm days after it's been kind of chilly.
Anyways, enjoy our credits too. They're awesome.
Oh yeah.
Our credits are the best. And then
VHS we found of people washing things.
Yeah.
With cool music.
Yeah, it's the music that we're here for, let's be honest. Anyway, goodbye everybody.